Rising gas prices are fueling frustration from drivers nationwide. In Kentucky, the average price of gas has hit the $4 mark for regular unleaded fuel. The last time gas prices hit this range was in the summer of 2022. At that time, Governor Andy Beshear issued an executive order halting a scheduled 2-cent increase in the state's gas tax, a rate that is overall set by statute. The first inflation report since the war in Iran began came out on Friday, showing those quickly soaring prices led to the biggest monthly inflation spike in 4 years. In an economy that is already pushing folks towards gig work to supplement their income, the high prices are making it even harder. Here's what one DoorDash driver told us this week.
A month ago, putting about $35 of gas a day, I'm closer to $70 a day. When there's been days that I've went, is it too slow to go work today? Am I going to make enough money just to cover gas? And I've stayed home and said, no, I'm not going to do it. And that's hard because, you got bills, you got to pay, but at the same time, I can't go work for free.
Democratic 6th District congressional candidate Sherilyn Stevenson held a presser this week calling attention to the issue, pointing to the strain on commuters, schools, and farmers. And she is likely not going to be the only one. Gus, do you think Republicans are adequately addressing this issue on their side?
Well, look, I think just moving forward, this and inflation itself is going to be an issue moving forward for the next 8 months. If you think back to 2022, which was the last time that inflation was really a focal point during a midterm election, Republicans tried their best to use that as a sledgehammer against the Democrat Party. And while there were marginal gains, the sort of red wave that everybody had talked about didn't really materialize. I do think that it is an issue, among others, that is going to lead to a tough re-election year for Republicans this coming November. I think in Kentucky, it's a little different just because of who's up for election. I think, the 6th congressional district race here is going to be, that'll be a main focal point, not only gas prices, but the price of groceries, everything else. But I'll also say, look, we've got 8 months to sort of see what happens. This has been a very tremendously short and quick climb. There's no telling what's going to happen over the next 8 months. If those prices come down, if inflation cools off, that could be something that sort of takes some pressure off. But yeah, right now, if the election were held today, it'd be a major issue.
And you're touching on where I want to go next here, Jonathan. Given the midterms are not until November, we have to get through that primary still next month. But, how does the financial pain being felt right now influence voter behavior several months from now?
Well, the question is, what will the economy be like a couple months from now? And when we talk about the economy in some general sense, sometimes people can just debate those issues back and forth. But when you see gas prices, those are a tangible problem. And if an election is being held, if it were being held today or in the next couple months while the gas prices are still high, I think that it would really help Democratic efforts to take back the House and possibly even the Senate. But as Gus mentioned, there's a lot of time between now and then, and the gas prices could fall precipitously if this war in Iran ends on any near-term basis. So we're really at the whims again of President Trump, and what he decides to do with that war will affect what our gas prices look like and will affect the elections that will depend on them.
Now, I mentioned some of the actions that were taken back in 2022 whenever we were facing some strain at that time. I know that several folks are probably looking at other states freezing their gas tax and wondering, can we even do the same? There's only 2 days of session left. Is that something that we even can do? Is that really feasible with the timeline that we have left, or are there any tools that state lawmakers or even the governor can use right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think, as far as tools go, there's always time in Frankfurt until they go sine die to end. There's always vehicles. There's always a way to figure that out. But I don't really see that as something that will be really looked at. This is really a national issue when it comes to how gas prices are affected. To your point about the governor freezing the gas tax or doing a moratorium, that's something that could be done through executive order. I do think that it's an issue that the legislative leaders and members care about, but when it comes to how they can actually effectuate any changes over the next couple of days, I think that's a question that they're going to have to answer when they come back. And I really think that they're hoping, just like everybody else, that these gas prices start falling and everybody gets a little bit of break at the pump.
Jonathan, what do you think?
Yeah, I don't see any action taken any time in the near term. We'll see how bad this gets, and if there's an opportunity to to save taxpayers a lot of money. The governor, I think, will take it. He's starting to look at a possible presidential campaign and anything that he can do to help his prospects there. In addition to serving in his role as chief executive back here, I think he'll take a close look at. But again, this is a national issue. It's a global issue, and it's pretty hard for anybody in Kentucky, even a governor, to have much of an impact.
All right, gentlemen.